And conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah. More than conquerors. We are conquerors. Yeah. Wow. More than conquerors. Tell them already we are good. Tell them again. Tell them already we are good. Tell them again. We are conquerors. More than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah. More than.
Hey, it's your boy Retro. Thank you for pressing play.
It's the Retro Philosophy Show.
So you're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. Sheldon, start up the mic then! We start up the mic them now! Sheldon, start up the mic then! We are gonna crank up the mic them now!
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Retro. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it, man. We are just really excited and glad to be with you guys on this morning, as I am every single morning. You know what I mean? God's been good. He's been better to me than I've been to myself. Guess what, man? And same thing goes for you as well. I said the same thing goes for you as well. God has been good to us. And look at here. I want to encourage you every day. You already know what it is, right? Trying to encourage you to acknowledge him. He said, lean not to thine own understanding, but in all of thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And so we're just extremely grateful to God for all of his many blessings that he has bestowed upon us. And sometimes when I really sit down and I just kind of observe, you gotta be observant in today's society for so many reasons. However, sometimes I sit down and I just observe how good God has been to you. I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm not stalking. But sometimes the blessings are obvious. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the blessings are more obvious to an outside perspective than it is to one who is going through what they're going through. Okay. And so I just want you to pause for the cause. And right now, where you are, just say, Lord, I want to thank you. Yeah. Go ahead and thank him for his goodness and for his mercy and for his kindness and for his wisdom. Because what we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, is that sometimes the thing we got mad with God about was really his sovereignty. It was really his omnipotence. It was really his godness, just doing you a solid. Yeah, he was doing you, my friend, a solid. Let's see what we got here. I have lost audio. Hopefully you guys can still hear me.
Make no mistake, we are conquerors.
Okay. So I think my headset
More
is
than
died.
conquerors.
So we're going to go old-fashioned. Let me see if I can get a little audio in the studio. Okay, and so we have to learn to just say, Lord, I just want to thank you. All right, now give him some praise real quick, and then we'll get going from there, okay? God is good all the time, and all the time He is good.
Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride.
Music
Got my
off?
specs on
Is
my
it too
side.
loud? What's the
Forever
deal,
ride
sis?
that.
Talk to me.
Keep
Talk to me.
alive. I'ma
He says
rev
turn the
it
music
up.
off. So was the music overpowering? My headset died, so I'm kind of in the wind here, trying to see what's good, what's going on here. Let me see if I can do this. All right. So hopefully that is that's better. All the time He's good. He's good all the time and all. Okay. It was too loud. Thank you so very much. Let's bada boom, bada bang. We should be good now. We should be good. My apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with myself because we have dignitary who has just press play. The one and only Kenneth Barnett, aka The Promise, is in the building. What's going on, fam? How are you doing, my good fella? How are you doing? Ladies, if you do not know, then you got to ask somebody. Kenneth Barnett, aka The Promise. He's been on Springfield. I was going to say Springfield College Radio. That's where I was at. He's been on Stick. Springfield Technical Community College for years, on top of years, gospel DJ there. And you can find him on 90.7 on the FM dial. You can also, oh my goodness, bruh, 36 years, fam? 36, nah, man, hit the telephone number. Hit the telephone number, man. I got to talk to you real quick. 980-222-4492. 36 years. Dude, that's a long time, man. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise for Kenneth Oh, okay. I think I muted my sound effects. Hold on one second. Sound effects, bada boom, bada bang. Where we at? I don't know what's going on. My headset is dead. And, okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only. I'm gonna get it after a while. You know me. If you don't know me by now, I won't stop until I don't stop until I get it. I got it. Okay. So freshman year in 1987. 1987, your freshman year. If wait a minute, where were you at? You weren't at Tech. Were you, Commerce, right? I think Commerce. Good Lord, 1987, dude. I mean to tell you, God is good, though. God is good. So 36 years, that is definitely an accomplishment. And so anyway, let's get on with the show, man, because we about to pull off, man. We about to pull off. I should have had some sound effects for that one right there, but we about to pull off, man. And ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand that there are some times when you must pull off. Now, 91.9. I'm sorry. 91.9. You were you not on 90.7 at one point, Kenneth? I tell you what, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get you on the show. We're gonna talk about 36 years in the radio business, and we'll just find all the answers to the questions that everyone has. Okay, so I'll give you a call, and we're gonna set that up. We're gonna get you on the show. Okay, that's where you started. Okay, all right, cool. So that's where you started. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to the Retro Philosophy Show. We are going to get The Promise, and I promise you we're going to get The Promise on the Retro Philosophy Show. Okay, so he started out at 91.9, and he is now at 90.7. Okay, cool. And so we'll get him on the Retro Philosophy Show, and we'll chit chat. Speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, who we're going to have on the show, we have an interview lined up for you this coming Monday that I believe is going to bless you. I believe you're going to enjoy this conversation and everything that will come from this interview. We got the one and only Bella in the building, aka Honey B. She'll be with us on next week, Monday, ladies and gentlemen, for our Monday evening interview, and that will take place at 8 p.m. So if you do not know, go ahead and check her out. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on YouTube. You can find her even on. She's part of a broadcast that's on. I know it's on Motorcycle Entertainment Television, and I know they're on so many other channels as well. Beauties and Bikers. Her and the rest of the team. Honeybee will be with us in the building, ladies and gentlemen. So make some noise right there. So make sure you tune in on next week, as I said, next week, Monday, and we will talk all about her accomplishments, her aspirations, and all that stuff. Okay. So just throwing that out there for you. Flyer will be put out later on today, so you can go ahead and plaster that all across your social media. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, there comes a time when you must pull off. Okay, pull off. You must pull off at some point. Now, I want to talk about that from a couple different angles, if you will. First and foremost, I want to share with you, my wife and I, we were traveling on yesterday, going to help out one of our brothers. And we were on 85 heading north. Okay, we were on 85 heading north. Let me just pause for the cause. Folks on 85 can't drive. I mean, I don't know what they smoking. I don't know what they drinking. They cannot drive. I don't know what's going on I-85 North in the Charlotte Concord area. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, my wife and I, we were traveling on 85 northbound, and there was a state trooper up ahead. He had pulled over an unhappy camper. If they were happy, they were unhappy once they saw those blue lights go whoop, whoop. And so they're off to the side of the road. There's a gentleman in a Jeep, older gentleman, it appeared, and he wasn't paying attention. And all of a sudden, he almost ran into the vehicle in front of him. So he throws on brakes. I'm behind him, and so I'm behind him, but I'm in the lane next to him. Okay. He throws on brakes. He starts swerving and everything. I hold my lane, and I'm watching him, and he literally was not able to stop. So he had to pull off. Okay. And to the onto the shoulder, almost hitting the state trooper. I don't know how that worked out because I didn't stop. I kept it moving. And so as I slowed down, I didn't even brake. I let off the accelerator because I didn't want him to, I didn't know which way he was going to go because he was swerving right and left. Finally, he decided to pull off. Somebody say pull off. So he pulls off to the shoulder. And so vehicles are getting ready to continue, because everyone kind of broke up, and I happened to look in my rear view. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not paying attention in this thing called life, I'm not just talking about where you're going. I'm not just talking about to the right and to the left, but sometimes you got to check your rear view every now and then, because I happen to look in my rear view and there's an 18-wheeler barreling down on me out of nowhere. I don't know where he came from. And when I tell you I had to, I don't know if I should say smash or mash, but either one, I put my foot in the accelerator and took off. And he was still coming down so fast, I had to pull off. Yeah, I had to pull off. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the ability to pull off sometimes is necessary. Now, again, I hit the accelerator, and the vehicle starts to accelerate. But sometimes you can be going as fast as your little vehicle can go. It still ain't fast enough. What are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is you could be doing the best that you can do at what it is that you are doing. But sometimes the safest thing is to simply pull off. We finally get to our destination, and I'm helping my brother out. And we get things sorted out, get it fixed, figured it out and everything. And he says to me, I gotta walk away. Yeah, because there were some other things that were to be done. He said, in other words, I gotta pull off. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've ever been working on something, right? And it begins to frustrate, as I like to say, the dickens out of you. I don't know what the dickens is, but it frustrates it out of you. It frustrates the dickens out of you, And so sometimes what you must do is you must walk away. Okay. Sometimes you got to pull off, leave it there. You'll come back to it. But when you get back to it, you've regrouped. And in many cases, you've even seen it from a different perspective. Because right now you're seeing it from a lens full of frustration. But when you walk away from it, sometimes it's not as bad as you thought it was while you were getting frustrated. It seemed really bad then because you were getting frustrated, okay? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the trick of the enemy. Many of marriages have ended, and many of relationships have ended, and many of lives have been ended because someone got to a point of frustration and did not know that they could simply pull off. You got to pull off sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get out the way sometimes, okay? Sometimes people and situations around us are not considerate of your momentum or the lack thereof. Now, just because you do not have the momentum that someone else has does not mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean, pull off and pray. Yeah, pull off and pray. And that, my friends, is the most powerful and can be the most effective weapon that we have as a Christian believer. Note I said could be, okay? And the reason why it could be is because if you don't utilize it correctly, then it's not going to produce the results that it could. Okay, you got that wife. We're talking about many relationships have ended because of frustration, right? And you say something out of frustration. Let me say this. I don't know why I'm going here, but I hope you're listening. I don't care how many times you say sorry. It ain't gonna fix everything all the time. Learn to pull off. Learn to get off the road. And then recoup. Have a woo-saw moment. Count to 10. If you have a hard time counting to 10, count to 5 twice. Pray. But let me be real. Let me keep it a buck with you, okay? Because my sister, she says, pull off and pray. And then she turns around and she hits us with another bomb. Be careful what you pray for. And that's real talk right there. We've got to be careful what we pray for, okay? Now, and that's the point that I want to make. If we are praying for the wrong thing or we're praying from the wrong place, number one, there are some results that you will not get, okay? And number two, you can get to a point where you have even more frustration on top of the frustration that you started out with. I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. God is not a pit bull. He's not a Rottweiler. He's not even a Chihuahua. Because I don't get it twisted now. A Chihuahua will get them ankles. You hear what I'm saying? A Chihuahua will get them ankles. God is neither of those things. What I'm saying is you can't sick God on nobody. You can't use God as an attack anything. Okay. Patience and understanding. And the Bible says we have need of patience. Okay. So back to what I was saying in terms of your momentum might not be the momentum that they have, but you just started 6 months ago. They started, 16 years ago. So there's really, apples and oranges. There's really no fair comparison. If I just started 3 months ago and you started 16 years ago, I expect you to have more momentum. I expect you to have accomplished more. I mean, you've been doing it longer. But just because someone's been doing it longer doesn't mean that they will have more than you who has just started. But what I'm saying is don't ever allow there you go. Count to 5. Because some people have a hard time counting to 10. So you just got to give them the 5 twice, my brother-in-law caught that one. He caught that one. But we really have to understand that sometimes slow and steady wins, the race. Come on now. Irene, you preaching, sister girl. Somebody collect the offering, get the big offering plate. Yeah. Because she preaching real good. Everybody's journey is different. Okay. And it's different for a reason, because our destination may be different. Now, I'm not talking about heaven in terms of that, but where God is taking me on my journey, or where God is taking me with my journey, because I think there is a difference, and we can dialogue here and discuss it if you'd like to. There's a difference between where God is taking me on my journey and where God is taking me with my journey. Y'all ain't hear me up in here. I'll preach to myself if I got to. And so there is a difference, ladies and gentlemen. When God is taking me somewhere on my journey, then that journey from here to Massachusetts is going to end me in Springfield. That's where he's taking me to. But if he's taking me somewhere with my journey from here to Massachusetts, may open doors for me to get to California, to get to Canada, to get to Italy and abroad. You understand what I'm saying? So please understand that, because if you don't, you will be on your way from North Carolina to Massachusetts complaining about the 12-hour ride, complaining about the bad roads as you go through New Jersey. Shout out to all my Jersey folk. You will be complaining about everything. And as a result of your complaining, you will repel instead of attract the blessings that are necessary to open doors for you to get other places that God has in store for you. So let me recap. With some of us, our journey is taking us somewhere. But with some of us, our journey is taking us, they're both taking us somewhere. But what God is doing with our journey is one thing, and what he's taking us to with it is another thing. I kind of lost myself right there. But real talk, God plans, not our plan. He's the GPS. He is the GPS. He is indeed the GPS. But I found out that my journey has a destination. Okay. Or I should say I have a destination, and I've got to maximize the journey to the destination. My journey is taking me somewhere, but then there are things that he is working into me in the process of the journey that will prep me and position me for even greater. We talked yesterday real briefly about the fact that I am more than a conqueror. Okay, anybody else with me on here today? I'm more than a conqueror.
More than conquerors. Tell them already we are good. Tell them again. Tell them already we are good. Tell them again we are conquerors.
Better believe it. So we're more than just conquerors. So God did not place us on the earth just to conquer. But in many occasions, he placed us on earth to conquer and then show someone else how we conquer. Y'all gotta catch this today. Okay. And so if you are only concerned about where you're going, then you're missing happening in between. And that even applies in our day-to-day life. It applies to everything, saints. It literally applies to everything. Okay. All right. Let me see here. I'm getting excited here, pressing buttons and all that good stuff. All right. So where were we at, folks? Where were we at? We still got you guys with us today. Okay. So you've got to pull off. So we pulled off. We got out of danger's way. And guess what? Watch this now. Check this out. We didn't have to pull off permanently, just long enough to let that truck pass. And I promise you, you truckers, man, I'm watching y'all. I'm watching y'all. Some of y'all. Okay. I think that the guy, I think he did it on purpose, because you should have saw the look on his face as he saw the look on my face, and he got right up on me and then just swerved, So, people are crazy, man. But we pulled off. Just long enough, just long enough. We didn't stay there. See, some of us are pulling off and we're staying there, and we're staying too long. I got some hot lady that just hopped on my feed here. I'm gonna keep my eye on her. She's talking about more than conquerors. I see you. I see you, young lady. Lord knows I see you. What's up to my beautiful wife? She's in the building. Make some noise. Yeah. For my forever bride. Yeah, I married her twice, the first and last time. Yeah, I got married twice on the same day, the first and last time. And it was to that beautiful lady right there. You heard? But yes, we are more than conquerors. Stop thinking because you have to pull off that you are not going to be able to catch up. Lord knows if I'd have known I was going here, I would have prepared and had the clip for you. There was a clip I saw on the internet with this little young girl. She was running track, and she comes out the gate, man. She's getting it, and guess what happens? Her shoe falls off. I mean, literally, she had to take a few steps back, grab her shoe, put her shoe on, tie her shoe, and then get back in the game. And do you not understand that this young lady, after faltering along the way, after being delayed, got back in the race and kept on running and kept on running and kept on running and passed that one 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 and kept on until she made it back to first place. Check it out, man. Many of us, if not all of us, at some point or another, have been delayed in life. Not only have we been delayed in life, but we have also been made to feel as though we would never regain the position that we once had. But I came on this morning, I feel like tuning up, y'all, to let you know that we are more than conquerors. Yeah, we are more than conquerors. I promise you we are. We're more than conquerors, okay? So it doesn't matter that you have been, delayed. And I don't know who's the originator of this saying, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The first person I heard say it was Marvin Sapp. He had come to be one of our speakers at one of our youth conventions back in Connecticut many moons ago. And he preached from, I don't know if this was the topic, the title, but this is certainly something that he drove home. He said, your delay is not denial. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I hope you're hearing me. I hope you're listening. Just because you've been delayed doesn't mean you've been denied. When I tell you that little girl got back in the race, she got back in the race and she regained her place in the league. Talk to me, Facebook. How you doing, man? How do you guys deal with and handle situations when you feel as though you've been, held back or overlooked and things of that nature? He says, yes. Kitty says, yes, we are through him that loves us. Yeah, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. And he loved us enough to ensure that we would come out on the winning side. It's not what you go through, but it's how you go through what you go through. You can't be murmuring and look here. We've all been there. I ain't even gonna beat you up this morning. I've been there where I've been murmuring, complaining, but it's a place that I try not to stay long. I'm human. I get there. I had a little whoopsie the other day where I kind of had a relapse in judgment and kind of was pulled out of my place. And so I just, ask God for forgiveness. And so we keep moving from there, because the enemy so often he will come strategically to lure you out of a place of purpose, out of a place of power, out of a place that the Lord has strategically put you. And he will try to lure you away from that place. And so we have to be careful. The Bible says we're not to be ignorant of Satan's devices. He has many devices, okay? Many devices. And so we have to be careful. And that, ladies and gentlemen, back to the topic, is why sometimes we have to pull off, okay? My wife is learning to ride a motorcycle, as many of you guys may know. Let me see. Do I have her on here? I thought I had her on here at one point. I don't. I got her somewhere, so I don't have it available to just quickly post up one of her little sessions. But I'm so proud of my wife, man. Last year, she made up in her mind. She said, look, man, before 2023 coming, I'm going to have my endorsement. And she did. She went and got that thing. But anyway, I was telling her the other day as she was getting ready to take off, I said, look, babe, this clutch is your best friend. Yeah, this clutch is your best friend. If you get in a jam, the first thing you want to do is you want to grab that clutch. When grabbing the clutch, it disengages the transmission, okay, which does not allow the motorcycle to move forward. It stops the power from going, And so what's my point? My point is simply this, folks. Sometimes we are so focused on the danger that we cannot respond properly. Okay. And sometimes all you got to do is just pull the clutch first and foremost, and then you can try to find which way you're going to maneuver out of the situation. Okay. And the enemy, he will present issues and problems, and our minds will just begin to be bombarded with all kind of thoughts. So just grab the clutch. I tell my wife all the time, ain't nothing gonna happen as long as you got that clutch, in terms of, the bike accelerating. And so we've got to learn to pull the clutch, disengage all movement of the enemy. Now, when I say disengage all movement of the enemy, where is the first place? Y'all help me. I don't know. I rode the short bus once or twice, so I'm gonna need y'all help on this one. Where does the enemy do his best work? Does Can you guys help me with that? I'm gonna sit here and wait for you. I need somebody to help me out here. Where does the enemy do his best work? Where's the first place the enemy wants to set up shop? Let's see here. Uh, when you pull off, be certain it is a rest stop where you can refresh, get nourished, and possibly take a nap. Rest stops are not off ramps. You park in a comfortable place, then continue your God given journey. Yes, yes, absolutely. If you know that you're going to have to stop for especially for a nap or a significant amount of time, I'm definitely going to suggest a rest stop. You can get refreshed there, both physically as well as nutritionally. Usually they'll have some vending machines and things of that nature, and so yes. But if you are in a emergency situation, that next rest stop might not be for 30, 40 miles. So sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do, and in order to make it to the rest stop. But I certainly don't recommend napping on the side of the road. It can be dangerous for so many reasons. But Kenneth, you are correct. You are correct. The enemy does his best work. Actually, you know what? Both of you guys are right. So Kenneth says, in your mind, and that's the point that I was going to make. But we've got King Levi in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise for him, my man, 50 grand. What's up, Levi? Let's see. So Kenneth says in your mind, and I agree. And then Brother Levi says home, and I actually agree there too. But they're intertwined. Now, a man's home is supposed to be his castle. A man's home is supposed to be his place of refuge. A man's home is supposed to be a place of solace. A man's home is supposed to be a place of peace where he can recoup, regather, and so on and so forth. Okay. And so, what better place for the enemy to mess with you than in your home? Because if he can mess with, if he can mess with your home, he's gonna mess with your mind. hmm If you leave, if you before you even leave home, you're hit with an attack in any shape, form, or fashion, it's gonna mess with your mind. It's gonna mess with your mind. And so I'm gonna say yes to both of these answers. In your mind and the home. He always wants to tear up the home front because he's jealous. He always wants to tear up the home front because he's jealous. Okay, and so we've got to be very careful of that. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as I take a swig of this sweet juice that my wife has made. It's so good and tasty. I wish you guys can taste it.
Wow, wow, more than conquerors. Tell them already we are good. Tell them again.
Yes,
Tell them
indeed.
already
We're gonna
we are
tell them,
good.
and we're
Tell
gonna
them
tell them, and we're gonna
again,
keep
we
on
are
telling them that we are
conquerors.
more
Than
than conquerors.
conquerors.
Kingdom alignment, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you did not know, then you better ask somebody, man. We on the move, man. We are trying to do, and and represent the Lord Jesus Christ. Levi, you ain't never said a better thing, man. And messing with your motorcycle. When the devil mess with your motorcycle, oh man, I tell you, boy, I tell you, it'll make a good man cuss. I mean to tell you. Oh boy, we done all been there, man. We done all been there, man. We done all been there. Lord knows we have. And but sometimes we just gotta walk away because it's not as bad as he wants us to believe it is. And if we believe the lie, then our frustration and our whatever else you want to call it could make a simple fix an impossible fix, or I should say a near impossible fix. What do you mean by that, Retro? What I mean is I'm so frustrated that I take it and I throw it across the room, and now it really is broke. And Lord knows I've been there. But we've got to, and see, it's at that moment that that's a good moment. That's a good place to just simply walk away. Just walk away. Okay. My wife and I, we've been married for 27 years, 26, 27 years. And and we don't have no drag out fights. We still have an impasse from time to time, where we have a disagreement or whatever. Um, but my wife is the kind of individual who she will just not shut down, but she will shut up. I'm the one, we got to talk this thing out. And she's like, no, we don't. Because I need a woo-saw moment. I don't want to say something that I don't want to say, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, learn to respect that. You know, I mean, I used to be, oh, we gonna talk this out. But I got to the point where, you know what, she's right, number one. And number two, and I posted this on What's Love Got to Do with It platform. So if you're not already a member of What's Love Got to Do with It, then go over to Facebook and make sure you join the little group. It's not restricted to just relationships, but it does deal with love, relationship, and so on and so forth. But I posted something on there this morning, and the gentleman was explaining. Pretty good too, and but anyway, he was explaining that sometimes we try to make our spouses into us. We do that, folks. Not just our spouses, but even on the job and relationships across the board. We are always wanting to get people to be more like us, because if you don't see it the way I see it, then you're seeing it wrong. Okay. And sometimes that is not the case. Allow people to be who they are. Ask God to give you the wisdom and the wherewithal to be able to accept them and just kind of go from there. But my point is, pull off. Yeah, walk away. Walk away. Don't let your frustrations cause you to say or do something that could be life altering. And I'm not talking about in a good way. Because again, I go back to what I said earlier. You can apologize all day, but that doesn't mean it's going to fix the situation. You are better off bridling your tongue, as the King James Version would say it, than seeking forgiveness for saying something that shouldn't have been said to begin with. I'm going to pause for the cause right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's that right there. Now it leads me to the other pull off. When you pull off, your pull off game is different. Let me explain to you. I ran into a difficult situation. I had to pull off. Now, I didn't pull off to give up. I pulled off to regroup, to recover, so on and so forth. But when I pull off from the sideline, oh, come on, man. We was talking to Expression. She's a newer rider, part of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. We got together this past weekend. We had a great time, went on a really nice ride. And again, if you guys are watching and you are in the North Carolina area, or you're going to be passing through the North Carolina area and you want some good riding, holla at your boy. We will definitely take you on some nice routes for some good riding, some country roads, or some just whatever your fancy is. But anyway, my point is, after a day full of fun and festivities, everyone began to disperse and go to their, to their specific destinations, their homes, right? So Expressions began to enter the interstate, as she was explaining, and there was a vehicle that was barreling down, and it got kind of dicey. So as she was explaining to me what happened, I began to share with her how we enter the interstate. We don't play around with it. The pull off game is different. It's different because we want to make sure we get up there and get out the way. Yeah. We want to get out there and get out the way. And so what I'm saying is, let's see here. Troy says, try to live by this principle. I'd much rather regret not saying something than say something I regret. Come on, Troy. How you going to hit me with such heaviness on this morning, bro? Oh, my goodness. I like that, though. I like that. 100. I'd much rather regret not saying something than saying something I regret. Now that's a Selah moment. That's a moment where you got to sit down and ponder. And ponder, because it's saying a whole lot. Yeah, it's saying a whole lot. Furthermore, if I don't say it, I can always wait for the opportunity to say it the next time. But if I say it and it was the wrong thing to say, I can't recover that. I can't, But that's good right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not yes, sir, but yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life where we've got to pull off, get out the way, recover, regroup, rethink, and all of that stuff. But then once you are refreshed and once you have recovered, you can go ahead and pull off from the sideline to get back on the highway. Man, I tell you, it ain't nothing like getting back in the game fresh. Oh, my goodness. Anybody ever heard of a power nap? My wife and I, when we moved here to the Carolinas, we were still back and forth to Massachusetts quite frequently, and we were driving. This would be the drive. And we would usually leave in the wee hours of the night. The kids are knocked out. We ain't got to hear all that yapping. Are we there yet? 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 So we would leave in the wee hours of the night. By the time they wake up, the sun is up, and we more than halfway to our destination. What's my point, you ask? My point is simply this. During that trip, during that ride, so often, there were countless times where we were in a pinch for time, right? And you work all day, get in the car, and you smash this 12-hour ride. But in the process of smashing out the ride, you get tired. Now, you can't be, spending, 4 hours resting up, but you pull off and get rested. A little power nap. There were times where, 30 minutes, if that, and after that 30-minute, you wake up and try to figure out where you're at, and realize, okay, but you're refreshed. Oh man, you good now. You good now. And just boom, get back in the game and all good, and just smash the rest of the trip. Let's see here. The pull off is awesome, and get back in line. Yeah, get back in line. Get back in line, and I was talking with my brother-in-law. They were traveling to come visit us, and we thoroughly enjoyed the fellowship and the time together. But he was explaining to me how he was pulled out of line and had to go take care of something. And they said, when you get it done, come back in line, but you don't have to wait in line. Come back to the front of the line. Y'all missed that. I'm gonna leave it alone because y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. But after pulling off, you can get back in line, but you don't have to wait at the end of the line. You can go all the way up to the front. And I don't know if you've ever had that privilege of walking by everybody who was waiting in line to take your rightful place in the front of the line. Yeah. But here's the deal. You got to get there. Yeah. So pull off and then pull back off and get back in line. That's all I got to say to you folks. That's it, man. So again, you got to pull off sometime. So you can get out the way, so you can recover, so you can regroup, so you can, just get yourself together. But then you get back in the game. It's your boy Retro, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, God is a good God, not sometimes, but all of the time, especially at the DMV. Yeah. Especially at the DMV. Man, look at here, man. There's some serious driving up there in the DMV, man. I mean, the DMV in line, as far as in line. Okay, I thought you were talking about the DMV. And I've experienced that before. You need some more documentation or whatever, and they say, okay, you got to go get this. But when you come back, just come to the front of the line, and you walk in there, be feeling like you a celebrity, man. Just walking by everybody. Someone be looking at you, giving that look like, who he think he is. I special. That's who I is, And but see, check it out. Here's what they failed to understand. Kenneth says, like TSA, the survivors allowance. But here's what they failed to understand. Don't look at me like that because I'm walking to the front of the line, because you wasn't even here when I was waiting in line. Y'all better miss me with that. I don't come at me with that tone of voice. I'm just saying. I waited in line, and I was in line for a long time, and so you didn't see me waiting in line, but that doesn't mean I didn't wait in line. And furthermore, y'all get me stirred up now. See what you did, Rick? This is what you did, man. You get me stirred up here now. See, folks want to look at you funny because they see the glory that's being revealed, but they don't know your story. And then some folk think they know your story, but just because you know my story don't mean you understand my struggle. You heard the story, this, that, and the other, but you didn't go through the struggle. And see, it's one thing to see something happen, but it's another thing to understand how it happened, why it happened, and it's a whole nother ball game, And so I declare and I decree that I'm in a season where I'm going to the front of the line. hmm Because I've already waited in line. I've already handled the business that needed to be handled. And the reason why I'm going to the front of the line is because it's done and I'm coming back. The Bible says it this way: after that you have suffered a while, he would establish you, settle you, strengthen you, make you perfect. Am I preaching to anybody this morning yet? Anybody, maybe, possibly? Rick says, I am a king's kid, and that's what he does for me. You better know it, man. You better know it. You better know it. We, ladies and gentlemen, we are king's kids, and so he does kingly stuff for his kingly kids. Okay, so stop letting the enemy browbeat you, as I often say. Stop allowing the enemy to trick you. Bishop Marion Shaw used to say, "Don't turn a molehill into a mountain." You know, and so a molehill is just a little something. You done turn it into a whole mountain, Mount Everest. You know, and so we have to be very careful. I mean, Troy, I don't think he could have said a better thing, man. I'm gonna put that back on the screen because it was really that powerful. I'd much rather regret not saying something than saying something that I regret. And how much the more if we were to apply that to our actions, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to be very careful. God has great things in store for us, okay? And if you're breathing, you ought to believe that. Yeah, yeah. He came that we might have life and that more abundantly. Okay. So he has great things in store for us. And we've got to learn that we've got to get to a point where we don't allow anything to disqualify the greatness that God has in store for us. So handle people with care and compassion, okay, and even consideration. All right. You've got to consider some things when it comes to different people, okay? And again, I'm going to sound somewhat redundant, but if you are acknowledging the haters in your life, it's because you are not considering some things that you ought to consider. Okay. They are not your haters. Now, are they hating? Very well, maybe, but they're not your haters. Okay. The, Cam going crazy like he about to do something. My little dog, my wife, little dog. I don't claim him. But anyway, they are not your haters. They might be your assignment. Work with me for a moment. What if your haters were actually your assignment? What do you mean, Myers? What if God allowed you to witness and to see and even experience their grimy behavior, their idiotic behavior, their negative behavior, and the list goes on and on. Suppose he allowed you to see, experience, and feel and witness all of that so that you could be the intercessor for them. Now, if that's the case, then some of us have got to go back to the drawing board and say, God, forgive me. Because when they started hating, I started flossing on them. Oh, don't look at me with that tone of voice. Because a lot of times when you got a hater, quote unquote, you go out and buy stuff that you can't afford to impress folk that you don't even like because you're trying to floss on your haters. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just saying that's just, quite frankly, that's stupid. It's dumb. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to spend money on something that I really can't afford to impress somebody that I don't even like or that don't like. Nah. But anyway, I guess that's a whole nother show. So I've come to the point. I even had the hat "I love haters," and then underneath it said motivation, because I was at a point where the hateration would motivate me to do better. You hating on me, I'm gonna do even better. But the reality is, they are confused admirers, and you don't floss on a confused admirer. You know, you've got to handle them with care. You've got to handle them with compassion. You've got to handle them with consideration. You've got to consider their upbringing even. Listen to me, folks. Try to get as much information about those who are quote unquote hating on you. It'll work wonders for you. You know, you find out that they grew up with not only daddy issues, but they grew up with mama issues. You know, don't know who daddy was, don't know who mama was, therefore they don't know who they are. You know, and you know who both your mama and daddy is, and you know who you is, and as a result, they love it, the strength and the power that you walk in, but they hate it at the same time. You know, they love it, but their demons hate it. And the reason why their demons hate it is because their demons understand that if they understood the fullness of what you're walking in, they could walk in it as well. Not only could they walk in it, but them walking in it would lead them to complete deliverance. Oh, y'all missed that right there. That was I just preached. I just preached, and I ain't even going to collect an offering. And so what happens is you stir up something in them. I am not forgotten. He knows my name. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful song there. Yeah, I am not forgotten. He knows my name. Man, look at here, man. That there is powerful. Speaking of that, I don't know why it triggers this memory, but the awesome, wonderful, beautiful, I mean, most hospitable person to date that I think I've met, the Honorable Bertha Rankin Shaw. She was the first lady, New Hope Pentecostal Church. And at New Hope, we would have noonday prayer. Okay. Noonday prayer was a place that you could go to. I'll speak for myself. I would slip over. Sometimes I would close the shop up and I would slip on over to noonday prayer because I was getting full with the things of life. And, and sometimes you get to that place, right? And so I would make my way over to church, and I would, I just left shop, so I didn't get there on time, and I just slip on in the back, and I'd be back there praying, and sometimes I'll be back there just crying out to God. Sometimes I'll just be back there just, not even saying a word, just in the presence, just trying to just hear God, And there were so many occasions where I would be back there. Nobody saw when I slipped in, and Sister Shaw would just call your name out in prayer. Remember Brother Sheldon. Lord bless Brother Sheldon, or something like man. And so many times when that would happen, it was like this quote is saying here from the song by Israel. I am not forgotten. He knows my name. I don't know if you've ever been there, folks. But it's like you're the old spiritual hymn was saying, way down yonder by myself, where I couldn't hear nobody pray. I don't know if you've ever been to that place when it seemed like everybody forgot who you were, and nobody saw you. But then for your name to be called out in prayer, I can't even articulate it. It just did so much. But for whatever reason, Kenny, that just triggered that thought. Sister Shaw was a beautiful woman indeed, inside and out, and she was a man. She was awesome. Yeah, man. We get there, we get there, and those are moments when you pull off, right? But you don't think you can get back on the highway. You're looking at all the traffic. You said they're never gonna let me in. I promise you, an opening is coming. Just put it in gear and wait patiently, but those places can be extremely difficult because we are in a society that is so compassionless. I mean, they have no compassion. My mama used to tell me, you got to treat others how you want to be treated. Not now. People don't do that. People don't treat you the way they want to be treated. And it's sad. It's sad. So I want to encourage you so that you can be, different, so that you can be the one to help change this world. See, some people are out here trying to change the world by themselves, and that ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna change this world by yourself. Jesus even had 12 homies. I'm saying, and he was the Christ. And so you're not going to do it on your own. Each one reach one, each one teach one. And so we have to understand, and I want to do a show. I want to do a show dealing with the whole concept of I got next. Y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. When I tell you y'all ain't ready for it. Y'all ain't ready for it. But an exceptional leader, I have this saying about leadership. I'm just going to deal with the exceptional leader because, we talk about a good leader. We talk about a great leader. But the exceptional leader, ladies and gentlemen, is the leader that knows when to step aside. You got to know not so much when your time is up, but you got to know when it's time to shift. You ain't going to be in front forever, nor should you. Okay. And so if you are in leadership, Who is your successor? Do you have your eyes on the potential next successor? I mean, are you strategically doing anything to allow for someone to rise up in ranks that could potentially take your place? Or are you trying to sabotage any individual that might look like they would potentially even think about challenging your position? If so, then you are in position for the wrong reason. Okay. I got next, bro. That's what we're gonna talk about, man. We're gonna talk about it, man. You want to be on the panel? Holla at me. We can put you in. We can put you on the panel, and we can talk about this thing, man. Because it's a lot of disgusting stuff that's taking place, and I don't believe that God is happy with it. Okay, I don't believe He's happy with it. I said this, Kenneth, and it. Some might not get it, some might not understand, but those who do, if you know, you know. We have too, especially spiritual fathers, and I use that loosely, but we have too many spiritual fathers who would rather castrate their sons than perform the wedding ceremony. Y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that, man. Y'all ain't ready for that. And the same concept applies to so many other things, not just the church, but specifically the church. I've been there for over 30 years, so that's where most of my stuff is, But anyway, they would rather castrate their sons than perform the wedding ceremony, and that's foolishness. Okay, yeah, that's foolishness. So, with that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, we have much to pray for. And as a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to get out of y'all way. I'm a preacher, so I take several closes. So, who knows? I could still be here another 20 minutes. But real talk, though, real talk. I've been feeling in my spirit very strongly the need to do another midnight hour. You guys remember last year we did the midnight hour for the whole month, and it was an awesome experience. We didn't get on here and try to prophesy to everybody, but we did prophesy. We didn't get on here and try to be deep, but we did get deep. We were just simply being obedient. Okay, and one thing I found out in life, you don't have to apologize for being obedient. Now, I'm real enough to offer some explanation if you feel you need that, but my explanation will not be an apology. I was a young Christian that would downplay and even, apologize for what God was doing in my life. That was ridiculous. I mean, where did they do that at? Let's not go there. And so I'm at a point now, and here's the deal. Some folk, the folk. Well, anyway, they say a hit dog will holler, right? So if you got hit, just holler and just keep it going. But those who are intimidated are the ones that will try to manipulate you and mess with your mind. And because what they'll do is they will take your confidence and they will try to display it as arrogance. And it's not arrogance. You can be confident in who you are in God, and you do not have to apologize. If you can't handle it, who was it? You can't handle the truth. If you can't handle it, that really ain't my problem. I mean, it's really not. Now I believe that everything we do, we ought to do it with balance and even a level of modesty. And so if I understand you can't handle my anointing, then, I'm going to govern myself accordingly. I'm not going to use my anointing as a weapon against anybody to make things worse. Sister Pearlina Brown told me, you've heard me say it over again. You can probably quote me. Don't give the devil a stick to beat you with. Okay. And so Jesus didn't even work many miracles in certain places because of their unbelief. I mean, so he just would move on. He even told his disciples when he sent them out, he said, look, if they don't receive you, move on to the next house. Knock the dust from off your shoes and move on to the next house. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem. They want to make you think that when you come to the conclusion and the realization and the revelation that it's time for you to move on, that you are doing something that's ungodly. What's more ungodly than you moving on is you not ministering, teaching, feeding, and helping the people who are under your care. That's more ungodly than an individual leaving your church. They probably leaving your church because they are starving. They're probably leaving your church because they're hungry and they're tired of the same old status quo. I'm just saying. See, it's not about being the best preacher, but you got to pastor God's people. You got to lead God's people with compassion, with love, with understanding, with sincerity, with honesty. Come on now. I'm just saying. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we must do. And we must. And you see, Eric, Rick, I told you, man, you push me. You push me, bro. But real talk, man. We have to stop victimizing the victims and address the issues. Okay, some people were wounded underneath your ministry. Nobody's trying to make you out to be a villain unless you're not addressing it. I mean, because when you know better, you do better. You lose half your church and you never address the issues. I mean, we are a small ministry, and at one point we were growing and we began to lose people. And I sat there and I said, Lord, what's going on? The first thing I want to do is quit. God says, nah, you can't quit. I called you to this and I haven't given you the permission to quit. And so I had to go back to the drawing board and I had to search within. I had to examine myself. I had to examine, what I was doing, how I was doing, it was so many things I had to examine. It was self-inspection. Okay. And then, you know what we did? We got back in line. Yeah. And in many regards, Upper Praise Ministries, we're in our rebuilding stages. It look at, man, it happens to the best of them. If you sit here and act like you perfect from day one, I don't want nothing to do with you, because I don't want that lying spirit to jump over here on me. So, Rick, you're absolutely right, man. Lord, forgive me. It's what we all must say. If you point the finger more than you say forgive me, then you got a problem. You got a big problem. Look at here. You got some preachers that are just fussing preachers. I mean, it is what it is. They always fussing. They can't finish a sermon without fussing. And I'm gonna leave it alone, man. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yes, we must ask God to forgive us on a daily basis. And I was thinking about the Apostle Paul. He had a thorn. The Bible says it was a messenger of Satan to buffet him. And then I began to think about Sheldon. I began to think about your boy Retro. I began to think about, some of the thorns that I have in my life, and some of the things that I've asked God to remove, some of the things that I've asked God to, take away, but I kind of come to the conclusion that it's actually a tool. It's a tool. I don't like it, but it's a tool. A tool, you say? Yeah, it's a tool. It's a tool that allows me, it helps me to understand others a little bit better. Because if you got a perfect record, then you don't understand the individual who has slipped. If you have a perfect track record, you don't understand the person who's got to keep going back to God saying, Lord, forgive me, Lord, forgive me, Lord, forgive me. And you won't have the compassion that's necessary to allow true ministry to take place. True ministry eliminates the fear of discipline and allows you to focus on the need to get right. And people will not be able to focus on the need to get right, being reminded of their sin all the time. Now, you got to tell people that sin is wrong, but you also have to pull them with cords of love, draw them with cords of love, And so, I can't tell you the amount of conversations that I've had where I had to refrain. I want to be careful here, where I had to refrain myself from doing and saying what I wanted to say versus what needed to be said. Sometimes you just want to say, why did you do such a stupid thing? That's what you want to say. But what you need to say is, look, man, nobody's perfect. We've all been there at some point or another. Now, they're already waiting to be jumped on and beat up and be made to feel, like this. But then they don't get that. Now, you still say, look, we're going to do everything we can to help you. And, because we can't continue, doing X, Y, Z, the Lord's not pleased with that kind of behavior. But brother, I've been there too. I'm, maybe not the same exact thing, but I understand where you're coming from, sir, and so Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that is ministry. That is ministry. And so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move. If we don't begin to do that, I'm talking to you preachers and you deep spiritual folk, if we don't begin to display compassion, then you're gonna need compassion. Now, let's talk about that. Would you rather display compassion or be in need of compassion? The choice is yours. I'm going to show compassion. And what I mean by that is if I refuse to show compassion, God will mess around and uncover your stuff. God will mess around and reveal your stuff. And now the chips have flipped. The shoe is on the other foot. The table has turned. And now, because you would not display or offer compassion to anyone, now you're in need of it your doggone self. Hey, God has a way. He has a way. He has a way. When I tell you he has a way. And so I don't even know how we got there, but we got there, and we're going to pull off from there now, though. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we wanted to say to you today. I want to talk about the pull off. It's necessary sometimes. It's needful sometimes. And ain't no shame in pulling off. I would rather, in my case, that I began to explain in the very beginning, it was best for me to pull off. And see, here's the thing. Well, if he hit you in the back, you in the right of way. First of all, am I going to survive the impact? Secondly, dude, covered or not, I don't want to go through that whole ordeal. Well, you get your new car. Well, what's wrong with the car I got? It was riding perfectly fine. If I'd have just pulled off, I wouldn't have, So people have some really messed up concepts that cause them to do things that's real crazy. And so if you are experiencing anybody hating on you or doing all kind of crazy stuff, man, have compassion on them, have a little bit of consideration, because guess what? Once upon a time, you were a hater on somebody. Don't look at me with that tone of voice. Oh, you was hating on somebody. And so maybe all these haters that are hating on you is you reaping what you done sold. See, y'all about to take me down a whole nother rabbit trail. I ain't got time for that today. Let's see here. Kenneth says, if we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. You ain't never said nothing more true, bro. I'm telling you, we need him now more. And I say that all the time. I need you now more than I ever needed you before. They say, you said that yesterday. Yeah, well, today I'm closer to his coming. And tomorrow I'll be even closer if I make it to tomorrow. So every day I need him more than the day before. I'm just saying. But real talk, though, we need him now. They're calling good evil and evil good. Paul told Timothy years ago, in the last days, peerless times will come. They're upon us. They are upon us on today, ladies and gentlemen. Feet and place the clothes back on each other. There you go, brother. That whole part right there. So I think, as I was saying earlier, and I think I really will close with this, I was saying earlier, I feel a strong pull and an urge to go back into a midnight hour situation. We had quite a bit of participation, which I wasn't expecting. We would go live every night at 12 midnight, and we would pray and for about an hour. We would not pray from start to finish. Go to my YouTube channel and just type in the midnight hour and watch a few, and you'll see exactly how it played out. It was it was kind of a unique situation, but it was very necessary as well as effective, in my humble opinion, and I feel a need to do it again. So we're going to be asking the Lord, when should we start? See, just because you know you got to do something doesn't mean you just do it the moment you realize you got to do it. Sometimes you got to get the mind of God. The mind of God tells us how to do the will of God. It's the will of God for us to do another midnight hour, but the mind of God is going to tell us exactly when. The mind of God will tell us whether or not we'll do it the same format. It may be different, quite frankly, this time around, I was thinking about making it more private. So you would have to request to be a part of it, that way we can get a little bit more intimate and more direct with some of the prayers and things of that nature. In terms of, because see, some stuff you don't want everybody to know. And even as we're doing this, sometimes you have trolls and different things like that. And sometimes you got to close the door so you can say to the young damsel, arise. Yeah, woman, arise. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave you on that note. It's your boy Retro. Make sure you check us out this coming Monday. As soon as I get done here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw the graphic together. Boom, pop it up there, and then you guys can go ahead and share it with me. At least I would like for you to share it with us. But we will have the one and only Honeybee in the building coming this coming Monday at 8 p.m. We're going to be talking about a different world. That's the topic, a different world. Okay, a different world. So make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be on and popping. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. One of the things we want to talk about is seeing the world from a different perspective. Yeah, so I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And then we've got some other great interviews lined up with you. We're gonna, I've already promised you that we would have the promise on here sooner or later. We're gonna make it happen. I know where he lives, so we're gonna make it happen. So you guys can stay tuned and keep your eyes out for that show as well. I've known Kenny for a long time, long time, man. Cool dude. I also want to give a shout out to the one and only Shaquila Bussey in the building. Moto Mob, come on, folks. She's up in Virginia, but she's opening a motorcycle training school in Memphis, Tennessee as well. And that will take place on April the 8th. From 12 to 5 p.m. So make sure you put that on your calendar. We're going to ride up there. Cam Fan will be in the building. Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry will be in the building for that, celebrating with her and also congratulating her. The Promise, WTCCFM.org, every Monday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's where you can catch my man, 50 Grand, Kenny Barnett, a.k.a. The Promise, okay? Once again, that's WTCCFM.org, and that's every Monday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can also catch him on Facebook, and I'm sure he's probably on some other media platforms as well. But check him out and check out his ministry. 36 years of gospel music, dude. That's a track record. That's a track record, and so we give God praise for him and the ministry that the Lord has entrusted in his care. And we pray that the Lord will continue to order his footsteps and direct his path. Troy Smith in the building, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what it is. Kenny, we love you too, brother. Proud of you, man. You keep on trucking, brother. You see, you got to realize that God gives some of his hardest battles to his best warriors. And so don't become discouraged, ladies and gentlemen, when you are bombarded with all kind of hail and high water. Just realize that God trusts you to trust him to get you through it. All right. That, my friends, is real talk. All right. That's real talk right there. So we're going to get ready to end the show, man. Choices, great show. Thank you so much, man. And music in the background is courtesy of the minister, a.k.a. Taz, a.k.a. Troy Smith. And so we're grateful for him and the talent that God has given him. And
Kingdom Alignment on assignment for the king.
Right.
Hope you ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive.
What?
I'ma rev it up, so hold on
tight.
About to level up, catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast, man. Make no mistake, we
all
are
right.
conquerors.
All right. My man, 50 Ram. So we are just really excited and for not only who God is, but also for what the Lord is doing, not only in our life, but in all of our lives. Richard Blackwell is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for him. He says, good morning, brothers and sisters. Jesus loves you, and I love you. Hey, man, Richard, we got to get them handlebars, man. Neck and neck, man. We got to make sure this ride happens, man, as soon as we can, brother. I'm looking forward to it, brother. Looking forward to it. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure you check out Shaquila Bussey, April the 8th, 2023, and that will be in Memphis, Tennessee. If you're in the North Carolina area, you say, I would like to go. Holla at your boy, because we got a whole team going on that, and we can, we could all ride it together. It's all about fellowship. It's all about the fellowship and grow our whole process, okay? Also, I got to give a shout out to my man, 50 Grand, a.k.a. Big L in the building. You already know what it is. He's got the Tampa Jamboree coming up. Let's get that on the screen so you can check it out. Boom, there it is right there. May 23rd through the 28th. That takes place down in Tampa, Florida. He's got a host of entertainers and comedians and singers and everything else. They got a crazy pool party that is going to be bananas that your boy Retro will not be partaking in. I just let them do what they do, and but Cell is good people. Shout out to FHO. And the whole team, also United Bikers, for putting on this event. Again, the 4th annual Biker Jamboree, hosted by, once again, United Bikers and Fast Harleys Only, aka FHO. All right.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell, you still keeping it 100.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it, man. It's a wrap. Again, I want to say thank you for pressing play and being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. We thank you. We really appreciate that. If you have not already gone over to the YouTube channel, please do so. Like and subscribe. Help us get those numbers up there, man. Once we get 1,000 followers, man, 1,000 subscribers, it opens the possibility and the door for so many other things. So that's why we're really pushing the subscription. So please do so. Go on over there. Even if you watch us on Facebook, still go over there on YouTube and hit the subscribe button, and because that will help us tremendously. Okay. All right, guys, I'll catch you on tomorrow, same time, well, I shouldn't say same time because we don't really have a designated time, but just morning-ish, so make sure you tune in, man. And again, make sure you check us out every Monday. We try to bring you an interview that will bless you, that will, help you in some shape, form, or fashion. All right, man, I'll catch you guys on the next go-round, man. It's your boy Retro, and I am out.
Wow, wow, more than conquerors. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors, more than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast, man. Make no mistake,
so,
we are conquerors.
Page is simply
more than conquerors.
And you should just be able to go into the YouTube and just type in the Retro Philosophy Show, and it'll pop up. It'll have a picture of yours truly holding up a subscribe flag, and you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We certainly would appreciate that, and thank you for the support.
Wow, wow, more than conquerors. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors, more than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast, man. Make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah, more than conquerors.
Y'all make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page, send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, the Retro Philosophy. Stop playing.
Shout out to Retro Philosophy Show. This is your boy Sammy Medasa. So follow him. You don't know. Boom.
Boom.
Cool.
Everybody be on their way. It's in Arizona right now. Not only he ride two up, he ride with a trailer, and he doing an iron butt going back home. That's what I'm talking about. Good. Brotherhood, baby. Bought a tank, burn the tank. That's what you're supposed to do. Buy a tank, burn the tank. And your brothers come through your state. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Now, I'm trying to get back to the crib. I'll let y'all.
So you already know me and my murals. So we got this one right here, California Dreaming. You know, it is what it is. And let's get into a photo op in with the bikes. That's what it's all about, though. So check it out, man. You already know if you've got any murals in your city, in your town, man, holler at your boy, man. I'm coming through and get that snapshot, get that photo op, you know what I mean? And I tell you what, man, I'll even take you out for lunch. How about that? California Dreaming.
Wow, wow, more than conquerors. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. Tell them already we are good, tell them again. We are conquerors, more than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah, yeah, more than conquerors. We are conquerors.